Morning, happy Friday. It's Friday, it's Friday, it's Friday. I don't know, everyone gets excited about Fridays, don't they? It's the end of the week, it's Friday, it's the weekend. That means you get the weekend off to play, yes. Except if you work all weekends. Friday is really the Monday, so this is the start of my working week. Normally, not at the moment, of course, because we're not having birthday parties. But there you go, it is, of course, Friday. What have you got planned for this weekend? Anything exciting? Are you going to go for walks? Are you going to do some exercise? Are you going to visit family? What are you going to do? Well, if you have missed any of the last 5 weeks of the Mid Sussex Playdays at Home Club, then it's all here on YouTube. It's all saved. Go back and watch on the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Share the channel. Tell your friends. It's all there to be seen if you missed it. And you could spend the whole weekend just sitting watching me. And all my friends, of course, that joined in the Mid Sussex Playday scheme. That would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? I just think don't be real week. But it is Friday, and a Friday, of course, is a very important day because it's all about Wastebusters, yes, and Sussex Green Living as well, of course. But it's the day we also announce the winner of our competition for the week. Ooh, yeah, it is. But before we get to that, I have some important announcements. Please, we interrupt this broadcast for a very important announcement. On Monday next week, that's Monday next week, week 6 of the holidays, you will be able to gain yourself your very own Mid Sussex Playdays at Home certificate. Yes, you'll be able to show all your friends and family that you took part in the Mid Sussex Playdays at Home scheme and watched all the programmes. It's fantastic. Basically, you're going to get your grown-up to log into the website. All you need to do is just tell us what you liked about it, and you can download your very own certificate that you can put your name on. Would you like to see mine? Because I actually got mine already because I've been a very good boy and worked very hard on the play scheme. Yes, so they gave me my certificate. There it is. How about that? Look. Marvellous. I joined in the Playdays at Home Club Summer 2020. Tomfoolery. Yeah, love it. That is going on my wall. And you can have yours as well. Just to remind you though, that is available from Monday next week, okay? And of course today I need to share with you our winners of the competition. We're giving away our £10 shopping voucher that you can be used in your local shops. You just need to let us know where you like to shop and we will send you a voucher so you can spend on something nice to treat yourself as you've worked very hard. Now lots of people have been sending in their colouring in posters of the Playdays at Home, as you see on the screen behind me. But this week we got some great entries, and the winner is, we did say you could do anything. It could be a picture, something creative, maybe something you've worked on while taking part in the activities here. And you're not going to believe this, but Ben has sent in, yes Ben, has sent in a picture of a fantastic pirate ship. Take a look at this. It's actually quite a small photo, but you can see that there. Ben has made a pirate ship out of his junk found around the house. An old cardboard box, some string, newspapers, and look at it. It's a fantastic pirate ship. But even better than that, and this is really won it for Ben, is in Ben's pirate ship you can find Shadow the cat. Look at that. Yeah, Ben's cat Shadow enjoying a sail of the 7 seas aboard the pirate ship. Shadow, that be their cat. The only thing he's missing is an eye patch, but that'd be a bit cruel, wouldn't it, to write it. So that is brilliant. Thank you so much, Ben. Ben, you are this week's winner of our £10 shopping voucher. So please get your grown-ups to get in touch. Email us through the website, Mid Sussex District Council, and we'll see that you get that prize to you. Well done, and thank you for taking part. A great effort, sir. Well, here we are to Friday. So, hello once again to the Wastebusters cadets. This is your chance to earn your Wastebusters Food Detective Badge. Prevent food waste crimes from happening in your home by investigating foods that might be in danger of being wasted. And how can they be saved? Right, first, here's what you need to do. You need to download the activity pack from the West Sussex Wastebusters website. I'm going to read this out, but it's going to be in the comments below. It's westsussex.wastebusters.org/activity dash, that's that one, dash Wastebusters dash food dash detective dash page /. And all that is underlined, but that's just because it's a printed link. It's down there. Get your grown-ups to go and click on it. Print a copy of the Food Detective's notes, and you could create your own by just writing down your waste findings, of course. So I'm sure when you start investigating, you'll solve lots of waste crimes in the kitchen by finding food suspects that are going stale or dry, and yummy recipes that can help save your food suspects in danger of being wasted and put bad habits behind bars for good. That's it. If you're a bit fussy and don't like eating the crust on your sandwiches, or don't even like eating the crust at the end of a loaf of bread, that is a great example of a food suspect. But what can you do with them? Visit the West Sussex Wastebusters website. There's lots of hints and tips for the Wastebusters to save food, and lots of yummy recipe ideas for your leftovers, and an amazing waste cookbook. Now, senior Wastebuster cadets, you complete the Food Wastebusters, part of your food investigator detective case. That's not very easy to say in one mouthful. Food investigator detective case notes. Yes, by thinking of ways to prevent food from being wasted in your kitchen to keep your kitchen safe against environmental crimes. There's lots of them going on, and we've got to sort this out. westsussexwastebuster.org/activity-food-follow-food-waste-crime-stopper/ all underlined. It's down there. Click the link. Just upload your complete food detective case notes, and you'll get your West Sussex Wastebusters badge, of course, but most importantly, you could get your chance to win a very own baking set. Yes, so go there, upload it, get your badge, but most importantly, you could also win that baking set as well. Exciting. It's going to be fantastic. And of course, I'll see you in just a minute.
Hello Eco Warriors, my name's Carrie Court from a charity called Sussex Green Living, and this is Pedro, my red-eyed tree climbing frog friend. So today we want to talk about how you can use materials that are all around you that many call rubbish, waste, litter, but how you can use them to grow food and to help wildlife in your garden. So I'm going to show you some waste resources, some materials, and talk about how we can reuse them. So I've got a magic box beside me here, a bit like tomfoolery's magic. You're going to see all sorts of incredible things. So this is a milk carton. This milk carton can be made into all sorts of wonderful things. So in one of my earlier videos, we showed you how you can make a bird. It's an Eden Project idea, and how you can transform this milk carton into a lovely bird just to swing for interest in the garden, maybe hang up in your bedroom, needs decorating, needs finishing, but there's one idea. Here's another little idea. Look, this milk carton's a slightly smaller one. So this is a milk carton that's been turned into a bird feeder. All you need to do is cut a little square, put a little perch. This is a pencil that's the lead is broken, or you could go and find yourself a stick in the garden, make a couple of holes, and then put the stick through and put seeds in for your birds. Decorate it beautifully, make a hole in the top, and then put a piece of string. Maybe just find a piece of string in the garden somewhere, pop a piece of string through, tie a knot underneath, put your lid back on so the seeds don't get all wet, and there you have a lovely bird feeder for your birds. So that's one way. Here, in my magic box, I have got something else. So this is a decorated watering can. So all we've done here is we've put lots of holes through this part here, not too low down, otherwise all the water's going to come out. So we've just put holes in this area here, fill it up, and then you can just gently water with just a sprinkler effect seeds when you're perhaps planting up in the spring or at some point throughout the year. So that's lovely. My dogs are going to help us now. Now I'm going to show you an example of something that you can do with a milk crate. Lots of fruit juice cartons, bottles, twigs, leaves, all sorts of lovely materials from the garden. Take a look. Could you make something like this? Right, what are we going to pull out? What's Pedro going to pull out of this magic box now? How about, do you recognise what that is? It's a piece of old gutter. It's not very long. It's the offcut when we had some new guttering put up. But rather than throw it away, we need to think about how we can use these materials, what we can do with them. I'm sure we can do something else with this piece of gutter. What do you think? They're absolutely brilliant for planting up peas, carrots, all sorts of plants, vegetable plants can be planted up in them. Put some soil in. You have to water them quite carefully. But the great thing about using a gutter is you don't have to disturb the roots once the plants have got to a certain size. You can dig a little gully in your vegetable patch, or perhaps in your flower bed where you want to grow some vegetables. Dig a gully and then just gently ease all of the plants out into that gully, and then they can grow in the flower bed or the vegetable bed, and you haven't disturbed their roots. So that's a really good way of growing carrots and peas in particular. Here's another good material, waste resource. So an egg box. Egg boxes are absolutely brilliant for planting up seedlings. So put soil in them, plant your seeds in, and then when the plants get to a certain size, you can, the cardboard goes a little bit soggy, you can just break it off and then plant the cardboard piece of the egg box and the little seedling, the little plant. You can plant them all together, and again, you don't have to disturb the roots of the plant. So that's really, really good reuse of a egg box. Of course, alternatively, you could recycle it or go to the local farm and collect some more eggs in the same box. Some more little eco tips. Now, here's a funny thing that Pedro's got to show you. It's a Wellington boot. It's a Wellington boot that's got a hole in the bottom, so it wasn't any good as a Wellington boot any longer. This isn't a very pretty one, but some of you children have probably got really pretty, really colourful boots. So lots of things you can do with a Wellington boot rather than just throw it away. Have a think for the moment. What do you think you could do? Have you seen any Wellington boots anywhere reused? Here are some examples. Now, when you plant carrots and vegetables, flowers, you need to plant them a certain distance from each other in rows. And here's a good tip for you. A piece of wood. Any old piece of wood, again an offcut of wood that your granddad, dad, uncle, friend don't want any longer. And what you can do is get a tape measure and measure out the in centimetres or inches, whatever measure you want to use, the different gaps, the different spacing for plants, and then decorate it. Then you can take that out into the garden. Doesn't matter if it gets dirty, beautifully decorated. Hey, that would make a really, really lovely present as well. So that's what you can do with a piece of old wood. What else? Okay, I want to show you how you can be eco with keeping all the slugs and the snails and all the pests at bay. So there are all sorts of products, some of them not very environmentally friendly, for killing slugs and snails and stopping them from eating your vegetables. Or your flowers, come to that. But here are some more eco examples. So, eggshells. So, if you use your eggs, maybe to fry some eggs or make an omelette, make a cake, you end up with the eggshell. If you clean the eggshell, next time you put the oven on, put the eggshell in the oven just for about 5-10 minutes. It becomes really, really crispy. And then when it's been baked, put it in a jar, save it, crush it up, and then sprinkle these around the plants. Slugs absolutely hate it because it's all spiky. And if you put a little circle around your plants, that's a great protection. This is another product. There are lots of products out there, but these are all very environmentally friendly. So this is Slug blocker granules. So I don't know whether you're going to be able to see them. So it just looks like grit actually. But again, you can put a little ring around. Can you see that? You can put a little ring around your plant. And again, the slugs don't like it because it's all lumpy and bumpy. There are other products that, this one is organic, which basically means that no chemicals have been used in the making of it. So organic farmers and growers are able to use this. You have to buy this one, so the eggs are really good because they're free. And then another tip Pedro's got here, a sack, a lovely sack. And what's in this sack? Wow, these are made by a lovely lady in the Horsham area. Her company is called Wool Shred. She's going to talk at the Horsham Climate Cafe soon, which I run. So this is wool. She has lots of lovely sheep. And because people in the UK don't tend to buy clothes made out of wool very often, when they shear the sheep, when it gets really hot like this and the sheep need shearing, these days their coats, their fleeces have no value. They get composted. They get rotted down to go or back onto flower beds and back onto the earth, which is good to make compost, but it's better to use it first. So we buy this fleece in these lovely Hessian sacks that we can refill. And if you place a little circle of this fleece around the plants, again, the slugs just don't like it. It's an obstacle. It's like going mountain climbing, and it helps to protect the plants. Eventually that will rot down, and so it's really good for the soil as well. So there are some eco tips to help you get growing. So this isn't exactly for the garden, but it's a lovely way of presenting a gift. So an old jam jar, you can recycle it. It's really important you do recycle it. But of course, if you can reuse it as a gift or to help you in the garden, then all the better, much, much better. So you can reuse a jam jar. How about that? If you're lucky enough to have flowers in the garden, or maybe wild, like weeds. Don't pick wild flowers, you've got to be really careful. But you could pick some grasses and some buttercups if you haven't got your own garden. And then present it in a lovely little jar. It can look absolutely beautiful. Give it to auntie, gran, friend, mum, and they'll be absolutely over the moon. I'm really lucky. This is a friend gave this little vase to me. This jam jar with these beautiful flowers out of her garden. So that's a great way to reuse a jam jar. Right, now Pedro and I are going to show you how to make a bird feeder, or it could be a butterfly hibernation house for your garden out of what many would call rubbish or recycling. So take yourself a fruit juice carton, could be a milk carton, they're called Tetra Paks. They've got a sort of plastic on them. They've also got paper and foil within them, so they last a long time because they've got this sort of plastic coating. So out in the garden, yeah, it doesn't really matter if they get rained on. So take your fruit juice carton, for example, take a permanent marker pen or a felt nib would do, and then decide where you want to make the openings for your, let's say it's a bird feeder for the moment, yeah? I'll show you some examples of some butterfly hibernation houses later, but you can use your imagination, that's the wonderful thing. So I'm going to decide it's going to be a bird feeder, so I'd like the birds to have a reasonable depth of seed within it. So I'm going to draw quite a big square, so it's not like a bird house, a bird house, they might like quite snug. They might just want a small hole to actually go in. But a bird feeder, I think you could have a few birds feeding at any one time. And I'm going to put a hole one side, and I'm also going to put a similar size square. You can be really creative. You might want to produce something else. Your birds might like something totally different to my birds. So I'm going to do a square base sides, so that if there is a bird sitting on a little perch here eating the seeds, and another bird comes along, they've got an escape route, and there's a little perch the other side, you'll see. So I've marked up where I want my cut lines to be. I find myself some scissors. Now, be careful with scissors, and parents, you need blunt-ended scissors if you've got little people. If you're older and able to use sharper scissors, then still be really, really careful. Never ever run with scissors. Only use them sitting down. Ideally, ask your parent to do the first cut, because that can be quite difficult. Really put it on a work surface and stab a hole, but get your parents to do that, because that's quite tricky. Once you've got a hole, then it's quite easy, and then you cut a square. As I said, doesn't matter if your square becomes larger, or you might decide after you've made it you want it to be a little bit bigger. So there we go, there's one side cut. Then I'm going to, again, ask your parents, or if you're older children, young people, then you can do this yourself, I'm sure. So again, stab a hole, cut a little square. This is going to be a really pretty bird feeder. It's lovely, bright, colourful, lovely, cheerful colours. There we go. So, might have some orange juice still in. All there is. So there we go. So you can see that a bird, if another bird came along, would have an exit the opposite side. Now, very, very carefully, again, if necessary, you let your parents do it. What you need to do is decide, pop a little perch hole so that you can put your stick through the hole. So you don't want it too close to the line, otherwise the perch will just break into this square here. So some way down, about here, we're going to make a hole either side. Then what you need to do is just go off into the garden or into the local park, and see if you can find a nice stick, like a little twig on a tree, that you can put in as a little perch for the birds. Or the example that I showed earlier, that used a pencil that the lead had broken. So every time we sharpened it, the lead kept falling out. That's very irritating, isn't it? So you could use that. So I've got some bamboo actually, which you might be able to see behind me over here. So I'm quite lucky. I don't have to go and buy back into my magic box. I don't actually have to go and buy bamboo because I've already got it. There we go. There's a piece of my bamboo that I've cut and dried. Pop it through the little hole. Pop it out the other side. There we go. We've got a lovely little perch. Now all you need to do is get a piece of string. So you could use, I've got some baler twine off the pet food. So what I would do is, it's very hard to make a hole in the lid. So you might make a hole in the top of your fruit juice carton, or you might find that if you put a piece of string down, you might find possibly that you can just screw the lid back on. Oh, that's not going to work. So I'm going to make a hole in the top. Very, very carefully, in the middle, right in the centre of the lid, right in the centre. Otherwise it's going to swing awkwardly. And then actually what I'm going to do is put a piece of string through the hole, and what you can do is do a knot on the very bottom, a really, really big knot, maybe a number of knots. Then your piece of string is not going to go back through the hole that you've just poked it through. You just have to experiment. There's no right or wrong. So there we go. So you could decorate that. You could go and find some leaves. You can go and find some ferns, some interesting foliage from the park, from the garden. and decorate it so it looks a little bit more camouflaged. And then you need some seeds. Maybe you might not not be able to go out and buy some seeds, so you could put some water in it, and it could be just a little watering hole for the birds. So there's your bird feeder made out of a Tetra Pak. So, have you got any CDs or DVDs lying around that have got scratched, damaged, and they won't play any longer? Well, if you have, you can make all sorts of beautiful things out of CDs and DVDs rather than just throwing them away. Here's this we made as a little bird scarer. Now, having just said I'm making a bird feeder and a watering hole for birds, that doesn't seem quite right, does it? But if you've got vegetables, if you've got strawberries, and you don't want the birds eating your the food that you're growing, then you've got to frighten them away. So you could have a lot of fun with a CD or a DVD. Show us some examples, make some things and show us the examples. I know some of you children watching might not have a garden at all. But that doesn't mean that you can't get involved in growing your own food and helping wildlife. Maybe look around in your community and see if there's anyone that's got a really big garden or a garden that they just don't have time to look after. Maybe it's an elderly person who would really appreciate it if you actually helped them in the garden. You could grow some food, you could make a little wildlife pond. It's called garden sharing. So that's an idea. Or search the internet and see if there's an allotment in your area. In Horsham, where I live, there are lots of different allotments that you can rent, and that gives you a great space to spend time outside as a family, grow your own food. Much, much better than buying food from the supermarket, which lots of that food's travelled miles and miles and miles. Next time you go to the supermarket, have a look and see where the fruit and vegetables come from. It's quite shocking. Often Spain, Africa, South America, thousands, tens of thousands of miles away. So to get that food to us, needs ships or aircraft, lots of fossil fuel, which is really, really bad for the planet. So grow your own. Here are a few examples of ways that you can grow food in a really small space. It's really important that you try and include some sort of water feature in your garden. Whether you've got a small garden or a really big garden, it's possible to put in some sort of feature. Here are a few examples. This is the pond in our garden. It's got a little area, some chicken wire, so that if any animals fall in, they can actually scramble up on the chicken wire. Otherwise, a graduated edge so that they can walk out into the shallow water and then get out of the pond. Or you might actually try and make a little tiny pond, as seen here in this image. So eco-warriors, please go away, look at where your food comes from, think about ways that you can grow it yourself, think about ways you can use materials that are all around you that many call rubbish but we call a waste resource, and think about how you might be able to use it for the benefit of wildlife, people and planet.
Wow. I love Sussex Green Living. Such great ideas. Well done. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you once again for joining us. Another week has come to an end. It's Friday. We've got just 1 week left Oh my goodness. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for joining us. Send in your photos, especially some of the stuff you've been making today. I would love to see your creations. Get your grown-ups to send it in to the Mid Sussex District Council website, and maybe you could be up here on the screen as well. And maybe you could enter our last competition to win a shopping voucher. £10. It's Friday, I'm on for the weekend now. Yes, we're going to go and have some fun. I think I'm going to go and do some cycling because I'm a big cyclist. I like cycling. I'll have some exciting news next week about some other TV online projects as well. So watch this space. And of course, we'll be back next week, every day from Monday at 11 o'clock with more fun with Mid Sussex Play Days at Home. So enjoy your weekend, guys. Stay safe, be nice to each other, and we'll see you soon.